So this is my DBS Masterclass lesson number 1, creating cards through comboing cards. I guess I'll leave with that. So as you can see in this example, using a card like Super Saiyan Son Goku, Pride of the Saiyans, which has a auto. When this card is played, choose all of your opponent's battle cards, ignore barrier, and KO them. And over here, the first auto on Vegeta Resolute Agents of Destruction is choose one card in your hand and discard it. When this card is played, choose all your opponent's battle cards, ignore barrier, and KO them. Similar effect, except one has a cost versus the other. Makes sense to us when we consider the fact that you pay for specify green to play this, pitch a card, and then trigger this effect. In order to get this, well, you pay 5 specify cost to play it. Or if you want to do it on turn 4, which is what makes this card really good, is that it's a turn 4 play, which is more likely when you need that effect anyway, so you can last until turn 5, right? Where you can drop this and just keep the game going, right? Would be through an effect like this. Since this has 0 cost 5k, which is really cool for a 5 cost battle card, 2 cost 0 in order to combo it. Normally it means one cost 10k, but this is 0 cost 5k, so it makes it much easier to use, because then on turn 4 you could just attack with your leader, combo this just to get this to the drop, and then use to save a hopeful future to bring this back from the drop, and then get the effect of Vegeta Resolute Agents of Destruction and clear your opponent's board, while getting a 25k double strike body on board. Over here with the Vegeta Resolute Agents of Destruction, he's double crit. He has double strike and critical. He's 20k. A little bit weaker, but the added crit is always useful. Plus he has some extra effects. You can actually make him 25k double crit by using his +1 ability. So technically he's equal, except he has crit in that regards. So they're similar. So that's why comboing these 2 cards can equal you having this card, even if this card is literally not in your deck. Now you can have all 3 of these cards in your deck and go crazy. Why not? But let's say for argument's sake, I tend to play only 4 unisons at most per deck. So if I want to use a different unison, then this combo would replace this, because the main reason I would play this is for the board wipe ability plus added effects, but mainly for the board wipe. So in order to still have the board wipe but without actually having this card in the deck, then I would use this combo, because this is just a good card in general, but then of course so is this. These are good cards in green in general, so why not throw these in the deck, put a different green unison like the Super Saiyan Bardock parental something. That's a good effect, has good effects, the anti-combo ability and ability to make your opponent discard a card. Has some really good effects. So if I want that ability, then I will play that unison instead of this one, and then play this combo to make sure I still have that board wipe. Or I can, go crazy and just have all 3 of these cards in the deck and see how things play out. This is just to show examples. I forgot to put the minus sign here, but you get the idea. The funny thing is, it was like really the closest. I'm like, well, this is pretty much what this combo is. Now this is my old state, standard combo. Bodyguard allergic for free, swing at my opponent's leader. If they don't negate the attack, which they typically don't do, which I like, and I pay 1 energy and double strike with Champa or E Supreme card. So I have a 25k double strike swinging at my opponent for 1 energy, relatively free, right? So this 2-card combo pretty much imitates this card, Invasive Power Mirror, which has a Realm 5. You pay 1 to play it. It's 25k with double strike. The thing is that the benefits of using this versus this is, of course, you got to meet the requirement of the 5 cards in the drop area, so you have to play a lot more cards in order to get this bad boy out. This don't require much. You just need 1 energy, which won't be hard to do, right? To play Champa, have Bodyguard Lyric. So that right there will be pretty much a total of 3 cards just to play out this 25k double striker. The other thing is the added benefit of this being a blocker, so I don't have to, you know, it's not a dedicated attacker like this. This is a dedicated attacker. This does nothing else other than it's just to be summoned for cheap and to swing. Because if you don't, that was just a waste. This has the added benefit of being a blocker. Of course, this being a 16k, I could actually play this and swing with it. You know, I could actually play a Champa, swing with the Champa, and then Champa the Champa, right? So there's versatility in that. And then it's the fact that, of course, this can be, you know, used with anything. I could turn the leader into, you know, essentially this, you know, if I combo with the leader. And the leader might have an added ability that will make it better, like critical or something. So there's some versatility using these cards as opposed to just flat out playing something like this. So combining these two will give me something like this. You know, game theory wise, you know, I swing with this because it doesn't already have crit. It's only 15. My opponent might think, oh, he might not combo, so then all I have to do is combo. If let's say his leader's awakened, all I have to do is combo 5k and I'm good. I can survive that. Or he might think like, you know what, I'm not even gonna try to out combo, I'll take the hit. But then you drop the Champa and it's like, okay, now it's 25k double strike. That's a different story. Now they have to think differently. So then there's a whole mind game thing. That's where it gets into game theory, because this creates a mind game with your opponent as opposed to this. Again, mind game. So that's the benefit and versatility. I try to do like Swiss Army knife type stuff where I like to everything to have its own different uses, but also be able to combine it to different ways. You know, that kind of stuff. I like to combine cards to mimic certain strategies or effects. So, for example, you know, if you see these types of cards like the Supreme Kai and Frieza's Death Embrace in a deck, and you might be wondering like, okay, well, I know what this does, I know what this does, but do you know what they do together? Especially with the leader. Essentially, these 3 cards, or you know, any leader that can boost himself. I'm using this one for example because it does have the ability that when you activate its remove 7 Dragon Ball effect, it gets 15k power. Also, makes your opponent discard a card and get rid of a battle card. So that right there is adding to the reduction of them, you know, them having combo power, right? Because they have 1 less card, a battle card in the field. That they could use to combo with, and 1 less card in the hand to combo with. So that adds to the power. So the fact that this becomes 30k, you chop it becomes 40k double strike, which is not that different from using Mirror Creative Absorb with Supreme Kai, making it a 40k double strike, plus its special ability. When this card attacks, it gets 5k power for the duration of the turn for every card in your ward. So how do you get that extra power boost? That's the question, right? Because a 40k double strike, yeah, you can get it through this and Champa. You can get it this through Champa, this and Supreme Kai. You know, obviously gets you 40k double strike, but how can you go beyond that? Well, obviously with Mirror Creative Absorb, inherently by his own effect, you'll go beyond that. But how can you mimic that, right? How can you create that type of power? Well, that's where Frieza's Death Embrace comes into play. Now you have to pay a cost, of course. Be nice if you could do it for free. Obviously, you could say Bibbidi may be an option, but let's say Bibbidi's not an option. Let's say he's banned or something, right? Let's even say Mirror's banned. So you don't have them no more. Let's say they don't exist in the game no more. But you still like that strategy, you still like that power boost and double strike and go for game type of play. Well, you can still create that power even though it's banned, right? If it was banned, through using cards like these. You still got the Kai, right? All you need to do is use Frieza Steps Embrace, because he has the active battle ability of pay 1 red, choose up to one of your opponent's leader cards or battle cards, and it gets negative 10k power for the duration of the turn. Obviously, you're going to target your opponent's leader with this effect. And this is not a once per turn, so you can pay red as many times as you can afford it, and your opponent's leader will get negative 10k power repeatedly. And there is such thing of negative power, so you can negative power your opponent. So let's go with the idea that you pumped in 5 red energy into this. So that's negative 50k to your opponent's leader. And let's say your opponent was awake, and obviously typically it would be when you're going for game. So negative 50k, taking away the 15k and going to the negative. So let's do a little bit of math. Let's go with 50k minus 15. Oops, there. 15k. So there you go, 35k, technically negative 35k. So negative 35k. So that would be essentially 4 super combos your opponent's going to need just to even get to a point where the leader will have at least 5k power. But you're still just with Champa, with E Supreme Kai and the leaders of vulnerability, you already be 40k, right? So you're 40k double strike, just that, plus of course this. So you brought your opponent down, so they're 5k, but you're 40k double strike, which means you're 35k above their leader's power. So now, not only do they need 40k for super combos pretty much just to get to 5k, then in order to deal with your 40k, they're going to need 40k themselves, so that way they'd be 45. So they need 40k, so they essentially would need 4 more super combos worth of power. Now it doesn't have to be super combos, it could just be a whole bunch of zero cost 5ks, but you get the idea. So they'll need about 10k, so they'll need 80k essentially in that scenario. Right, boom. Yeah, they'll need 80k in that scenario. So essentially, 4 super combos, and then 2, 4, 6, 8 5ks roughly, just to stop your double strike damage for game. So 4 super combos and 8 5ks. So that's 8 plus 4, that's 12. So they'll need a 12 card hand pretty much. Or let me see, let's add the super combos ability to draw and add the 5k power to that, to each, so they're essentially 15. So that means there'll be 4. Well, in total they'll need 12 cards. You can just say, because it doesn't matter where they start at, as long as they get to the 12 cards. So their starting hand would be 4 super combos and 4 5k cards. So they'll need 8 cards, and then the super combos hopefully gives them 4 more zero cost 5ks. So that would be at 12 cards in total just to stop it. But the fact that the drawing ability of the super combos are, they're not searching out the 5ks, they're randomly drawing, so they might end up drawing a whole bunch of 10ks they need energy for and not be able to use them. And other factors come into play. But the thing is the fact that they have to go that specific in order to stop you. Like 4 super combos. If they have the super combos, they're pretty much going to need it. Even if they didn't have the super combos and they had the 10k battle cards that you have to pay energy, they have to pay for 10ks, and then on top of that throw in 8 zero cost 5ks, on top of that. So they still would need a total of 12 cards to try to get to that point, or 4 super combos and 4 10k cards. Obviously when you do this is when they're tapped out, so the whole 10k 1 energy combo is irrelevant, because you're always going to choose wait until the right moment to go for game, which is usually when they're tapped out. So super combos is the only way they're going to get 10k for free, because they won't be able to pay because they're tapped out. And then of course zero cost 5ks, which still have plenty of if their hand's full. So that's the kind of stuff you're trying to take into account. But you get the idea. It's the fact that even if a card is banned and unavailable, for example, you can combo certain cards and get the same results. And I like stuff like that. I like the idea of being able to do something that either doesn't exist. That's another thing, is like combining cards to create an effect that doesn't exist. I definitely try to find stuff like that, like strategies that don't exist, but then later on they do. Like for example, I was trying to do the whole attack with blockers, but then untap them so they can block, and then attack block, pretty much vigilance from Magic. So I was trying to create that concept, trying to use some cards to give me that ability. But then they start making blockers that can attack, and at the end of turn they go to active mode. It's like, oh, okay, well, you're gonna make my life easier. I just use those cards, right? Instead of trying to create a strategy, they can tap, untap, tap, untap, tap, untap. I'm still doing some decks that utilize that tap, untap. I have like, oh, I could just show you very quick. This one, Boma. As you can see, I got fired up SS Son Gohan. At the end of your turn, choose up to 2 of your yellow battle cards with an energy cost of 2 or more, other than this one, and switch them to active mode. This is mainly to allow me to restand Goku. I am thinking of trying to splash in some more yellow in here, so we'll see. I'm still working on this, but this was so I can restand Goku, because he's 20k with crit, which is really good to swing with my opponent with. But then with Bulma turning it into a blocker, then it'll be a 20k blocker. So having it stand, so I could use it as a 20k blocker, but then be able to swing at my opponent with 20k crit, which is the magic number for swinging 20k, even if your opponent's awakened, because your opponent has to combo to stop your to block your attack. So 20k is really good. In order to stop your attack, your opponent's going to have to use a 10k worth of power, combo power, in order to block your attack when their leader is awakened. So attacking with this, standing, attacking, standing, something I want to do. So that's why this is in here. But you get the idea. Then you got this right here, Mirage Maker Shansa. Active main, once per turn, switch this card to rest mode, and then choose all of your red battle cards with an energy cost of 1 and switch them to active mode. So the ability to get these 10k, battle cards into play, swing with them, and then use Shansa to untap them. So either I could swing again if I want, or just keep them as blockers. So it just depends on the situation, but I might end up in a situation where it's like, all right, I gotta defend, so I'll swing and then untap. Swing and untap, and then of course there's an engine where I can swing with them to deal some damage, try to deal some damage, especially if I use this to boost them up to 15k, so I can swing with them to the leader even if the leader's awakened, and then use Shansa to untap them, use them to block. I'm more likely to have two or more of these in play, depending on the situation, because I could use this obviously to bring 2 back, so it depends on how things work out. And then use this to always bring the 2 back, so I can always at least negate 2 attacks if I have 2 of these. Negate, block 2 attacks, and then use this to bring them back, and then swing with them. Use this to untap them, and then again block, bring them back, block. You get the idea. Same synergy with using this to bring them out, swing. Use this to untap them, block. Use them to block. Use this, bring them back, and just keep looping over and over again. An engine, obviously, a reusable engine. And back to where we at right here. All right. So you get the idea. I'm trying to create something that didn't exist. Now it's starting to exist, but didn't exist. You know, vigilance, as it were. So now there's more vigilance in the game, which is cool. Oh yeah, this is the pretty much if using the leader and then these 3 cards, for example, or just the ability to get 2 free bodies in play, along with the leader being red, 2 free red bodies, and then play Fearless Pan, for example. I mean, the more red bodies you get, the better in play. Then you can create, you know, double strikers that get 5k boost. So this will be 20k double strike, this will be 15k double strike, the leader will be 20k double strike if it's awakened. So it'll be similar to playing 1 copy of, you know, just dropping Ghost of Tank Super Saiyan 3 Gold Tanks, getting the 3 tokens. They're already 15k. When you have 4 list cards in your hands, they'll get double strike, plus Gold Tanks will get double strike. So that right there is potential 8 damage right there with those, with just by playing this card. But you can get the same similar effect if you were to play Fearless Pan along with some free play battle cards, or at least some, you know, low cost battle cards. Because turn 1 you can play a battle card for 1 energy, turn 2 play 2 battle cards for 2 energies, and then turn 3 play Pan, and then all 3 of those battle cards, if they're still there, will get boosted plus Pan. The leader, plus the leader, and then bang, now you got 4 battle cards with 5k extra boost plus double strike. Which, you know, if they're already 15k, there'll be 20k double strikes, which would be really good numbers. But just with these 4 cards right here, this is 2, 4, 6, 7 damage, which is 1 damage short of what this can do. This can obviously do up to 8 damage. But the whole point is the similarities of being able to get the similar effect, but at much lower cost, because you gotta wait to turn 5 to pretty much play this, unless you can cheat it out on turn 4 by having a Gold Tanks in play. But then that means you gotta play Gold Tanks in order to do this. And then again, the soonest you can do this is turn 4. With Fearless Pan, you can do this as soon as turn 3. Yeah. So 3 versus 4 or 5, much better odds, much better numbers. You have a higher chance of being able to OTK your opponent before they can even get to the point where they could potentially stop you from doing so. So waiting turn 5 to do this, they could probably stop you once you try to do that. But if you do this, Fearless Pan with these cards early, then speed, you know, very powerful, especially in a card game. Being able to do something very powerful before your opponent could even defend, or even get to the point of being prepared to defend themselves, is an advantage. And of course, these cards have their, you know, individual benefits. You know, this being a super combo, so it's 0 cost 10k. You know, it's a free body, so you don't have to pay to play it. So it's a 10k. You can swing with it early game. This is a 15k blocker, plus you can swing with it, so it's early game and even late game. Damage dealer right there. You know, reliable, you know, battle card to play with. This is a blocker and with barrier, so it's good to have blocker with barrier. I mean, she pretty much will block something. She's 15k, so of course early and late game damage potential with her. So a lot of versatility using these cards in different combinations. Obviously, you can combine these cards with other stuff, like Legic with Champa or E Supreme Kind. You know, obviously you can use the super combo of Nappa with you know, something like Pan, like the leader. Let's say the leader, like let's say in this scenario you play Pan, so the leader will get 5k double strike, so it'll be 20k double strike, and then when you swing, you play Nappa, make it 30k double strike. So there's that synergy, and then it plays itself onto the field. So you could use it to attack your opponent in case your opponent has 1 life left. Let's say they took the double strike damage, but they only have 1 life left. Then you can swing with this. Or let's say you have Legic, you swing with Legic, and then you combo this from the field to make this 25k. And since it's already double strike, then this will be 25k. Not 25, no, this will be 20 plus this extra 10 will be 30k double strike. So right there you can get, you know, 2 30k double strikes if you use it right. Like you could literally just be Awakened, play Bodyguard Legic, play Pan, save this instead of playing it for early. Save it for this moment. You go here, swing with the leader, combo 30k double strike to your opponent's leader. Let's say hits, and then swing with body. This will summon, swing Bodyguard Legic, which will already be 20k double strike. Say your opponent doesn't stop it, then you combo, it's 30k double strike. And if your opponent can't block it, good for them. If they can't, boom, they just take it. And you still at least have Pan to do extra damage, or to at least, you know, block. A lot of versatility in this combo versus just playing this one card by itself. Good card nonetheless, but you know, again, the fact that you can use these cards in combination to pretty much get this card's stuff, you know, power is good. And the whole idea of this video is to show that idea of why I play certain cards, because I combine them in a way and use them in a way that gives me the effect of another card. And I like the ability to create cards, essentially create effects and abilities mainly. You know, that's the thing about card games, is that they're effects, right? Like they're not just numbers. There's actually a text on it, right? There's abilities, and I like the idea of being able to create something that doesn't exist, or that it does exist, but maybe not in the deck specific color. Let's say this was a green card, right? This is a green card, and I'm playing a mono red deck. Then, like, it would be hard to play this card, you know, if this card was green or blue or something, right? Like, let's say, you know, this strategy creates a similar effect of a boonie, right? A boonie is blue. Well, if this can create a similar scenario, like as if I was playing a boonie, well, then I have the boonie-like ability, even though I'm not playing a boonie. I'm not playing mono blue. I'm playing red or green or yellow. Yet I still can do what somebody who plays blue, who plays a boonie, can do. So being able to even create a card in a, not just in your own colors, not just in your own card pool, but being able to create a card essentially from your opponent, the ability to combo certain cards so they have the same effect as a card that somebody else would be playing. You know, just like, for example, just like this, not that one, like this. Obviously, the whole, you know, Mirror Creator Absorb and E Supreme Kai, this is typically something you'll see in a mono black deck, you know, because of the whole milling and overrealm. Black, they like to mill and stuff, but how can you know, have that type of power or have that ability other than using the card itself, right? How can you have that without actually using it, right? So how can you Mirror Creator Absorb your opponent without Mirror Creator Absorb? And this is how you do it. With a leader, E Supreme Kai, and Frieza's Death's Embrace, and you create a similar effect, a similar outcome as if you were playing Mirror Creator Absorb. So that's the idea of like combining cards to literally create another card. And this is how I think this, when I think of like, oh, what can I use this card to do? It's like, oh, this card gives me this ability. Even trying to mimic the concept of like a rival, or the concept of alliance or something like that, you know, those types of game mechanics. Even creating game mechanics where you combine certain cards and you create a specific, you know, mechanic, like alliance, or a rival, or you know, some, you know, or I don't know, maybe you could do stuff like blocker or something. You get the idea. It's like, or well, specifically a dual attack, you know, like the I don't have any of that stuff here, right? No, it was here. You know, like Mirage Maker Shensa, you know, the ability to use it to untap my battle card so I can swing with them again. And if I could untap again and swing again, then I'd be like triple attack. So that's the thing about Shensa, is you're creating a double attack, a dual attack effect just by using the ability to put your battle cards back into active mode, allows you to attack again, right? So it's essentially dual attack. If you had a way to bounce cards back to your hand and still have energy to play them, so you could play a battle card, especially if you play a battle card like for 1 energy, like play Khalifa, right, for 1 energy, swing with her, use an effect to bounce back to your hand, pay another energy to play her again, then swing. Let's say you have the ability to untap, or the ability to just bounce again, bounce it back to your hand, play her for an energy, swing again. You know, you're essentially turning something into a triple attacker just because you have some ability to return to the hand a battle card and then just replay it and attack, replay and attack. You know, because of the mechanics in this game where you don't just have one battle phase. You can play, attack, main phase, play, attack, main phase, play, attack. Since we have that, we can obviously abuse it through certain card effects. So that's what I try to do with the cards that I look at. I'm always trying to find a way to create a strategy, especially you know, since I play a lot of other card games like Magic. I bring a lot of the concepts that I use in Magic, a lot of concepts that other people have used in Magic, and bring it over here because a lot of the cards have similar effects and abilities, and the game mechanics are pretty much identical. So it's not that hard to bring over strategies from Magic over here. So like the idea of, you know, a prison deck, you know, or a counter spell deck, or mono blue counter deck. I had a blue deck where pretty much every card in there draws, like all my creatures, aka battle cards, right, draw. So I play, draw, or they have an effect that when they leave the field, I draw. Some way of guaranteeing that I'm never losing card advantage from playing stuff. Like I play something, I could always replace it. You know, it's pretty much the idea of having infinite resources. You know, I play a battle card, I use it. If it dies, that's fine. It'll replace itself. So, which makes that deck really strong. Especially I have counterspell, bounce spells in there. So the fact that I can bounce my opponent's battle card back to the hand. Plus, I take advantage of summoning sickness, the game mechanic where you can't attack the same turn in which you play a creature, right? So in this game, you can attack as soon as you play a battle card. So that's different than Magic. That's more like Yu-Gi-Oh. So it makes it hard for me to try to do the whole bounce and bounce and counter thing strategy, because my opponent can attack in the same turn they summon. So I can't do that. That's why I have to negate an attack and then bounce, negate, bounce, negate, bounce. And then if I have a counterplay and then they, and I did already bounce their battle card, now I have the counterplay. I gotta make sure I have the energy to counterplay. So I gotta play a little bit different because I don't have the advantage or the luxury of the summoning sickness aspect of Magic to use to my advantage. So I have to play a little bit different. So I have to negate an attack, then bounce, then hopefully have the energy for counterplay, or just negate an attack again and then bounce, and then hopefully I have the energy. Like slowly do that, slowly work my way up to where I can alright, now I can finally counter the freaking battle card that my opponent keeps playing, that I keep trying to stop them from having. So a lot more work you have to do in this game to get those similar effects, but I still try to get those effects. Like in Magic, we have what we call the blink effect, which is an effect that lets you banish a battle card, pretty much, right? Send it to the warp, and then at the end of the turn it'll come back, and then it's when you play it effect kicks in, which is known as enter the battlefield effects in Magic. Comes back, you apply the effect. That way you can infinitely use or repeatedly or consistently use the same effect of a battle card over and over and over again. So imagine a battle card that has the ability to make your opponent discard a card from their hand. So I try to do that with Shenron's Figure Majesty, where I use it to bring back something like bring back what's his name, Broly something origin. Is it Primal Origin? I can't remember. Broly something. It's the 2-drop red green Broly that makes your opponent discard a card from the hand when it's played. So I will play from the drop area through Shenron's ability. Then I will combo it off when I attack with a battle card. Like, let's say I attack my leader and I combo it off. That way it goes back to the drop. That way next turn I can bring it back and get the effect and send it back to, combo it off, and just keep doing that over and over again. So it's somewhat of a blink effect. Still, obviously a relatively good strategy. Now I'm thinking like I want to use that with a leader that has critical, because of giving the leader the 5k power boost. So when I swing, but the constant bringing back, I like that. I think I probably have already used it, but I want to rebuild. I want to make a new deck using that same strategy. Anyway, see, that's how my brain works. And now I'm gonna build another deck. I already got 3 decks lined up here that I'm working on, including whatever other decks I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus a folder full of like 30 plus more deck profiles. So I have a lot to work ahead of me. Always trying to make sure that I try to make all my decks unique. Have different strategies and mechanics in it. But sometimes, I notice it feels like I'm repeating certain things. Like it's just a variation of something I already did. It's like I already did this thing where I'm tapping, untapping. It's like, okay, let me do something else. Even though I like that strategy, and it's a good strategy. If it works, it works. But not every deck should be tap, untap, attack, defend, attack, defend. It's a good strategy, but, I want to try different things, because once you make a deck that can do something decent and very well, then that's all you really need, is that one good deck that can do that thing very well. You don't need every deck to do it. So trying to see how I can create more stuff, and that's my main thing, is I'm trying to create as much new stuff, definitely trying to bring stuff from Magic over into this game, because it works very well in this game, and why wouldn't you want that years of experience when playing Magic being brought in here? Plus it's the experience that other players have. And I know there's tons of people who play this game that play Magic before, play Yu-Gi-Oh before playing this game, so they're already bringing that into this game. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm bringing my experience from other card games into this game. That's how I'm coming up with these types of things, where like I'm playing, these cards here, and then bang, to create something like this, or using these cards to create something like this. That's what these types of ideas. Like this is just basically Monster Reborn or Reanimate. That's all this is, just a Reanimate joint. And this is a Wrath of God, but on a body. This is just another Wrath of God. Dark Hole, or Geki, whatever you want to call it. Yu-Gi-Oh Magic terms. And then tap on tap Vigilance from Magic, all that good stuff. And that'll be the end of this video for now.